here, I encourage you to come grab a folder. They look something like this, in all kinds of cool different colors. And on the inside, you'll find this handy brochure, and you're going to fill out some information and turn that in, and that's going to be your attendance for the day. If you were here last week, make sure before you leave you sign the attendance sheet so we know that you were here. But we're so happy that you all came today. We have an awesome speaker lined up about classroom management, and we know how important that topic is, as it's something that's going to come up in your interviews with various scenarios or to detail your classroom management plan. So we're so glad we're able to listen to that today. And I also want to thank all of you for being so flexible. I know that we had a last-minute room change that happened, but my favorite thing about this organization is it's not where we are, it's not who's running this thing. The whole spirit of this organization is just the passion of all of our members. And I think that's so great that everyone can just be here and be awesome, and we really appreciate that, especially the e-board. We're all just very happy that you're here and you're embracing us as we are right now. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Devin for our icebreaker, and make sure you take a look at our announcements.
Okay, well, first things first, who knows how to play rock, paper, scissors? But that is not what we're playing. We are going to be playing a kind of full body variant of that called Human Banana Gorilla. So I want everyone to stand up. And if you are in the front row tables, I want you to come up here and push those tables back because we need lots of room.
No, we're not doing anything. I want you to actually climb over the table.
Fun, Sasha.
I know. Yeah, you did really bad. I know.
All right.
I'm a little scared about this.
And now, how you play Human Banana Gorilla is that, much like rock, paper, scissors, you will be either a human, in which case you will say hello, or a banana, in which case you make a banana shape, or a gorilla, in which case you become scary, like that, and probably roar. And you will pick a partner, introduce yourself. Hello, Sam. My name is Devin. You will go back to back with your partner, and then you and your partner will each pick, or you will pick, if you're going to be a human, a banana, or a gorilla. And now let's say I pick human, and Sam picks banana. So on the count of three, I will count to three, and then 1, 2, 3, turn. We're a banana, and I'm a human. And human slips on banana, so banana wins. And now let's say I was a human and Sam was a gorilla. So 1, 2, 3, hello! And human cages gorilla, so human wins. And now let's say Sam is still a gorilla and I'm a banana. So 1, 2, 3, and banana. And gorilla eats banana. So it is very easy. Winner moves on and picks a new partner and introduces themselves to said new partner. There are no losers. So losers will go to another part of the room, make a separate kind of losers bracket. And continue introducing themselves. So, yeah. So go ahead and pick a partner and introduce yourself.
Whoever said it.
Also, we're all going to start up here. My bad. Okay, just for right now, if you lose, you will go to the back of the room. If you win, stay up here and find a new partner. are still playing, stay up here. And if not, go ahead and take your seats, unless of course you're in the front row, in which case.
I lost my first. I lost my second try. Lost my third try. Won my fourth try.
You should be scared. It was
Banana. Drum roll.
Our two finalists are Julia and Paige. Okay, on the count, I will count to three. Take a minute, think about what will allow you to win this moment. Use your best, mind reading skills that you have garnered from CMLA. 1, 2, 3.
Hello. I can't.
You get the pleasure of winning.
Hello everyone. Okay, I'm here to talk a little bit about attendance and dues. So like Devin and Katie said earlier, if you could just please make sure that you're signing in every morning. And that if this is your first week, first of all, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you for, like Katie said, managing the madness. And then just make sure that you fill out that brochure and turn it into us. Dues are not due until October 15th. And again, those are $40 if you want to pay for the whole year, or $25 if you just want to do it this semester. And then just a reminder that if you're student teaching in the spring, it's just $25. You still get the full benefit of being a full year member, but it's $25. And if you have any questions or concerns about that, or if you think you need an extension or anything like that, feel free to talk to us. We will definitely accommodate you in any way that we can. What questions do you have at this point about that? Oh,
What happens if maybe we have some attendance concerns as well?
oh, thank you. Attendance concerns.
Just a reminder that in order to be a full member of CMLA, you need to also attend 5 of the 7 starred meetings, which were in your brochures. So if you were at last meeting and at this meeting, you already got 2 out of 5, awesome. And 4 of those need to be in person. 1 of those can be a video membership. If you need to request a video, simply email CMLA and we will send you the link back. Nice and easy.
And all the information about videos is all found in your folder. But like anything else, if you're ever concerned about attendance or if something comes up, feel free to talk to us because, like we said, we'll accommodate you any way we can. Holly.
And is that also online? All that information's online for those of us who don't maybe manage paper quite as well as others?
Yeah, it is online. It's all online on our website, which if you haven't checked out, please do. It's just cmlacmu.org. Yeah, Jake.
Dues, cash, check,
Either or.
Okay.
If you make, or money order.
money order, MoneyGram?
If you want to make a check, just make it at CMLacmu. Good question.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into some AMLE conference topics because that's coming up.
Hi, I'm Polly Pritchard, and I'm the advisor for this group. I think I've met most of you. I want to say, before I talk about the conference, I want to step back and just say one thing about this flexibility. You do know that this is part of being a teacher, right? Okay, so you're actually getting really great skills, and I mean, these guys can tell you I'm kind of not even surprised when we have a snafu and things anymore because it's just life. And I'm sure that Jen will also agree that if you are not flexible, maybe teaching's probably not good.
It's the key word to teaching, and if you're asked that in an interview, say flexible. They'll hire you, they did me.
So it's a great experience for us to just, it's just about figuring things out in the moment and making problem solving and moving. And these, your board here is phenomenal. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say, let's give them a hand. They are phenomenal. And after the meeting, if you get a chance and you feel, only if this is appropriate, hug one. I'm open for free hugs. But introduce yourself before you hug with your hands in. Okay, I'm gonna talk with you about the conference. We're gonna be going to Nashville, Tennessee. In just like a month and a half. And so we're gonna go on November 6th. No, we leave on the 5th.
Wednesday the 5th.
We leave on the 5th. And we're gonna leave about noon on the 5th. And how many of you like to have lots of quiet, relaxing time? Because you get 9 hours on the bus. So that's the exciting part. So 9 hours on the bus. But something tells me it'll be full of fun. And it's only $100, which is way cheaper than a plane ticket with all the other transportation that we'd have with parking and all that kind of stuff. Or, you know, if we rented a car when we get there, or whatever. So anyway, it's going to be lots of fun. If you want to go, there are still some spots available. We need to know, like, very, very soon so that we can make sure that we have hotels. Your hotel will be covered by some of the funding the fundraising that we do in here. And then so you have to have $100 for a bus, for the bus fee, and then $129 to register online as a student. So if you have any interest, the best thing to do is see me as soon as possible, tonight if possible. Otherwise, email me, and we'll make sure that we get everybody all organized. We'll be leaving around noon. If you already are signed up, we're leaving about noon on that Wednesday, and then we'll be back around really late Saturday night. We'll have you park your car someplace here in Mount Pleasant and meet where the bus is. That location is still being determined. And also, if you need professor letters to let your professors know ahead of time that you'll be missing Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, or Friday classes, just see me after the meeting. Okay? And Kelsey, could you talk about our website for a bit?
I just have a quick announcement with the website. Like she said, it's cmlacmu.org. And like I'll be taking photos during the meeting and stuff as it happened last year, but I'm going to be posting all of those so that when you're making your portfolios, hopefully you can pull some of those. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. And I'm taking over for Allie tonight, because she's at Ed Sheeran. But I know I'm gonna ask Allie because I'm jealous. And so is Alice.
Yep, they both are.
So I have a really awesome volunteering opportunity for you all. Fancher Elementary School is hosting like a dance/party at the end of September. It's September 26th. So that's going to be from 3:15 to around 4:30. I know the rewards party last week only lasted until like 4, but 4:30 I'd plan on. The cool thing about this is that the CNU men's basketball team is actually going to be there. So, yeah. So that could be exciting, but it's also a really great way to kind of interact with the kids as well. Again, it's September 26th, and then like we said before, we carpooled in the past, so feel free just to contact us if you need arrangements. We will try to make those separately. But I'm going to pass the sheet around, just put your name or email. If you've already sent us in a copy of your classes, please don't sign in again. And while that is going around, I'm going to invite Ms. Taylor Ortiz about a subbing opportunity at West.
Just really quick, I'm substitute teaching at Western Intermediate this semester, and we had a not so great sub situation. She just really didn't want to be around middle schoolers, so we decided we wanted a preferred sub list, and my host teacher asked me to get some of your names because he thinks anyone in this program is pretty much awesome. So I'm just going to pass this around, just give me your name and your email, and then I'll send you more information that I need from you. And as long as you're registered for the Mount Pleasant area and you're interested to sub at West this semester, just sign your name on here.
So is this just general subbing?
Yeah.
For any, do you want
Any
to
sub.
know then areas of, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. They want a couple of different pieces of information, so instead of spending time there, I was gonna email with the extra information they wanted.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
So just pass it that way, and then across here, so I can get it back at the front. Great, thank you.
Alright, Haley, now when you say registered, you mean registered voter, correct?
No, register as a sub.
As a sub. Okay, well, because that would have been a cool transition. Because I have a special PSA. I tried. Because I have a special PSA from Norma. Please register to vote. It's really important because a lot of the politics that are going on pertain so closely to educators and education. It's important that we get our voice out there. If if you're not registered, there's going to be places all over campus for you to do so. And if you are registered at home, please make sure you get that absentee ballot. It's such a privilege to be able to do this, and we're all of age to do so. So please consider making that voice heard. Does anyone have any questions about that while I'm talking? If you do, feel free to contact Norma or myself. She said she would personally help people find ways. I mean, I know that Polly and Jen probably have information on that too, so feel free. Don't let not knowing be an excuse not to do it. Yeah. With that, I'm going to introduce Sam, who's going to introduce our awesome speaker.
Okay, so I have the privilege to introduce our speaker for today. Her name is Jen Quick, and she will be presenting on classroom management. So she did her undergrad at Huntington University in Huntington, Indiana. She then taught high school for 4 years in Chip Hills, Michigan, which is just near us here. And then she taught middle school for 10 years in Beaverton, Michigan. She's been at CMU for 5 years as the Director of Pre-Student Teaching and Clinical Experiences. She helps with all the Mahara and everything like that, so that's wonderful. Her favorite part of teaching middle school or anything like that is the kids, always. That's always her favorite. When she was in middle school, her favorite grade was 8th grade, so what you guys think. And also, for us, going into middle school education or just going into education in general, she said to pay attention to our email. Make sure you're always checking that and you're always up on that, and that pertains to college as well. So, I would like to introduce Jen Quick.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I don't know about the whole awesome bit, but that's like huge. So, some of you have had the privilege of having me in the past, and I promised that I would come up with something else than my typical routine. Okay? But I wanted to kind of touch on, yes, classroom management and managing your classroom. Some of the things that, as a middle school teacher for 10 years, as a secondary educator, period, you need to start thinking about in making your classroom management plan. First off, who's my audience in terms of level in college? Freshmen? Do we have any freshmen here? Sophomores? Okay. Juniors? Seniors? Super seniors? Super seniors? I was a super senior, so I know that level. Graduate work, I'll say, is my super senior. Okay? So, some things to think about in terms of classroom management. Talking about flexibility right off, it is. You have to be flexible, and you have to be flexible with middle schoolers. They are technically brain dead. Think about it. You have hormones running through that head. You know that the developmental phase of them is absolutely in a quandary. Half of their brain says, do this. The other half of their brain says, no. And they really are not in a presence to be sure about where they're at in their world. And that's where you come in. And you give them guidance, and they love you, they want to please you. That's what I loved about them, and they can have a coherent conversation. That's when I went from teaching high school for 4 years to middle school. I was very nervous because I had never student taught. I never had the opportunity, except for 3 weeks in downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana, to teach middle level. That was it. One lesson on U.S. history, bingo, done. Everything else had been at senior government level. So I was quite nervous. What am I going to get? Especially in a very poverty-rich, how about that, area. And that was the thing that made me nervous, but yet kind of embarrassed, because I was not prepared for how intellectual, how strong, how amazing they were going to be. And that's the thing that I would communicate to you. When you put together your classroom management plan, they are young adults. What they're looking for is this. This is the whole key. Boundaries. I have never been able to find a classroom where the teacher has loved their children, their students, their young'uns into submission. Think about that. Now, I am not talking about what we witnessed this last week with the NFL. You don't use a switch on a 4-year-old, okay? That's inappropriate. When you discipline with a heavy hand a middle level student, get prepared to be rejected and disliked. Simple as that. Treat them as you want to be treated, but give them boundaries. Because what they want to do is, here's the box. Touch. Touch. Really touch. They want to go outside the boundaries and see, what are you going to do? How are you going to handle that? And you have to be prepared for everything. Okay? So, how I got roped into tonight. I absolutely, at one point in my life, figured, be ready for everything. And so what I had was Mrs. Quick's history handbook. And those of you who've had me, just bear with me. This was my guiding principle. The first week of school, I did not do a lick of curriculum. Now you may say, but Jen, they got tests. They're going to be evaluated. You're going to be evaluated. God forbid that's learning time. Take advantage of it. No. You need to build the R word, relationships. And my whole classroom was built on R's. Everyone knows me who's had my class. R's and I are best friends. Any word with an R is awesome. Too bad awesome doesn't start with R. Awesome. Okay? What you need to realize is that the relationship that you have with students is the most critical mass that you have. You have to know what they like. You have to know what they're into. You have to know what they're doing and what they're involved with. I knew every car that they wanted to in the future own. I knew where they wanted to eventually end up living. I knew what house type they wanted to have. Because the first day of class, I inventoried them with about 35 questions, 35 to 40. Give me everything from your favorite food to your favorite drink. What's your ultimate car? Who do you want to marry? I thought parents were going to call me on that. They did not. I wanted to know everything I could find out about them. Because the minute that they disengaged from my classroom, I said, how are you going to get the Corvette? I'm here to help you. How are you going to do it? And that shocked the heck out of them. Simple as that. Because I knew what they wanted. And I knew how to find it. Another thing that helped is to know what the minimum wage is. Because probably mom and dad are making it. It's $8.15 now, right? Yeah. Okay. How far is that going to get me on that Corvette? Anyone know? You have to do the math with them. You need to literally walk to the board and have them figure that out. What is 8.15 times, oh yeah, is it gonna be a 40-hour week? Not in the last few months. People have been taken to pretty much a 30-hour week. Otherwise, employers have to pay for your insurance. That's the new law. Thus, when I do this math with them, it's not going to get you very far. Thus, you need me. The teacher is needed because I am the key to getting you where you want to be. But you have to show them reality. That's the simple R there. So relationship to reality. There's the connection. After that, my 2 R's, simple. 2 rules to my classroom. What are they? Say them. Respect and responsibility. Was on every test, every quiz, every homework assignment, and I had a railroad crossing sign in my room to signify it. R and R. So all I had to put on the test, what is R and R? 2 points extra credit. There's a easy. I would walk in to this day, the sit-go on the corner of Saginaw and M30, and there stands Shane. Respect and responsibility, Mrs. Black. Thank you. Here's your $40. Okay, it's ingrained. You need to ingrain things. I cannot emphasize enough. Repeat, repeat, repeat. My writing for my NEAT tests were some of the highest scores in the state for social studies. They had to take that test, 8th grade, in the 9th grade, the fall. Even more hormones running through that brain. They were high because I gave them tricks to the trade. How do you write? If you do not choose a system of writing that is simple, if you confuse them, you will get nowhere. And so, I used a system, and you can pick this up from my office if you would like. I am very much into passing this along, but how many of you have seen raft writing? Another R. Okay. Role. Person takes on a role. They have an audience. They have a format or form to the writing, so like a letter or a diary. And then they have a theme. So let's say I'm Barack Obama. That's the role. I'm President of the United States. God help. God help them. And then I have my audience, the American people. I have the form, television. I'm going to televise a speech. And then I have the theme. We will not take down ISIS by invading Iraq. Now, I would not have that as this option, but you're all college students. So that's the type of thing I did. Raft, 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 on the board, everywhere. Raft writing all year long. There you go. They knew if there was any writing to be done in my room, if they were in a bind, well, what did Mrs. Quick say? Go back to raft. This was the repetitive nature that worked with them. Something to think about, okay? So, just a way to prepare. Everything was followed through on. I want to show you one of the questions that other people have seen. You'll know that with me, I can be lengthy. We've got fire drills. We've got tornado drills. We've got expectations. Look at number 30. You know what? All of you as teachers are people too. They have feelings, I have feelings. They don't think of us as human. It's like we dropped out of the sky into room 105 and we are your teacher. They don't really see us as anything but that label. And so one of the things that this question helped to solidify with them is, I have bad days. I can be in a bad mood, and I apologize now. I have things that hurt. I have things that I'm excited about, and I know you do too. So you really, it's okay to be human as the teacher. Did I cry with my students at times? Yep, when appropriate. And it's that idea that you want them to know you truly care. That you are in their court. You're their advocate. Now, sometimes that can go too far. For instance, Mrs. Quick, we would like extra 15 minutes at lunch. Make that happen, please. No, I can't, but I can give you the tools for how to present that to the principal. But I have a position. There are boundaries for Mrs. Quick as well. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. And so coming back to that in a repetitive nature is the way to go. So I always started off the year with my handbook. I'll show you a couple more pages of that. Policy for making up late work. What do you do if homework's not done? This was in a folder that was kept in the room, but it was also copied for them to take home. I always made sure that parents were aware of what was going on. Now, I was born in the 1900s. I remember when there was no computer. That's how old I am. I remember when there was no cell phone. God forbid. I remember not having email to communicate with. Wood is all we had. It's that thing where we got by, we were able to do it, but you always, always, always have to be in communication, and you always have to have that plan B in mind, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Another part of my handbook, procedures. What do I do when my substitute teacher for my 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade class, he still comes and takes me out to lunch here. Now what does that say? What I did is I did everything from the positive. Negative in your life will not get you anywhere. In fact, I just wrote on Facebook a couple nights ago. And this was not always my philosophy. Today I determined, compete with only yourself. You only lose time competing and comparing yourself to or with others. You will ultimately go farther and you will reach higher if you work hard at impressing yourself and not others. And as a teacher, same thing. If you start thinking, oh, I'm a CMU grad, I'm middle level, I'm awesome. Okay, you are. But there is this competition that you get caught in. Folks, there will always be someone better. There will always be some great idea. There will never, ever be enough time. Ever. It's just not going to happen. Always go with what your gut tells you is best. Seek out advice and wisdom from others. This group is not meant to compete against each other for jobs. your parents had you at the right time. Tell them thank you for conceiving you. Okay? Because, honest, you're coming out at the right time. There's going to be a teacher shortage 2 to 3 years out. And that's the nice part about this, is that there's not a competition here to be had between you. What there is help. And so you need to make sure that you're being supportive of each other and helping each other out, handing off ideas, and not making this a competition for who's the best middle-level teacher. Because you're all great. That's the thing you've got to have at your core. Okay? So in making your plan, know your building, know your system. I had a responsibility sheet. I always said to my students, okay, you want to walk outside my boundaries? Here's the situation that we're going to talk about. What is respect and responsibility? What are my 2 rules? We came up with that together. Here's the one thing that always happened. They would never think about respecting themselves. That always was last. They never, I'll respect everybody else, but they never thought about the fact that they need to respect themselves, which is kind of sad when you think about it. And really, if we're going to be great people, we have to start with us. If we're not taking care of us, we can't take care of others. I'd write that down. If you don't take care of you, you cannot take care of others. And some people will say, well, that is selfish. Well, you kind of have to be. If you are giving, wonderful. But you will run out. You will run out of all kinds of energy because you are just giving to everybody else. Okay? So we would figure this out together. This usually took a good day, sometimes a day and a half. If they were really right into it, sometimes you know when your students in your class, I've got this covered. They're a good group. And you can figure that out. It's going to depend on their maturity level. Sometimes your 8th grade group, who tend to be 13, 14 years old, sometimes they act like they're 10. My son's class, and he is actually 15, going on 15 at the end of the month. He is a freshman, and his class is probably one of the youngest groups that they have ever had, come through the high school yet as freshmen. We don't really have a lot of talking about sex. We don't have a lot of talking about drugs and alcohol. There are very few of those issues with their class. Now the class before them, how many babies can we make? Serious. So you really have to inventory where are my kids coming from at the beginning of the year. What is there, and you know what? You'll get that in that inventory of your students. That 30 to 35 question inventory, that will clue you in real fast. So we would go through this, and next thing we talk about are consequences and rewards, another R. Because everyone goes from the negative. They never talk about, well, what happens if you're good? What happens if you don't push the boundaries? We all just say, well, don't do this or this will happen. But we never go, well, if this happens, then this party could happen. And that's the thing that I think a lot of teachers miss out on. They're not talking about the things that the students need. I had a surprise job. Garage sales. Gotta go to them. I had a super social studies surprise day, and this is why my sub still takes takes me to lunch. I always told my students, if you make that sub feel they're walking on air, and we described what is walking on air, you get so many points towards Super Social Studies Surprise Day. And we made it kind of a competition between classes. Who's going to reach this? Now, what they never figured out, till probably now they're older, is that it was really a day of social studies games, reinforced learning with me. Oh, don't we kind of do that? And food. Okay, I had a parent who wanted to bring in pizzas from Pizza Hut for the entire class. Bingo, do it. Your son's earned it. That's the type of thing that came about with Super Social Studies Surprise Days. And I would control it, you know. Points could come on, points could come off. But it was definitely for the good more than the bad. Make sense? I was always looking for the positives. Oh my gosh, I love how you're studying. I think that's like 25 points for Super Social Studies Surprise Day. Yes! And then they're all sitting like her. They want to model. That's another big thing. You have to model what good behavior is. A lot of these students are coming from homes where the F word is every other word. That's all they know. Sometimes they're coming from homes where 1 mile from my house, there is a young man who lived on a dirt floor. And it's 2009 when that was. Sometimes these kids are wearing the same clothes for 3 days in a row because they don't have laundry. Those are the things you have to be able to, as a manager of a classroom, pick up on. That's your responsibility. And if you have good management, then everything goes forward. I have had some fellow instructors who really live by the rule. Make a good plan, and they will come. And I have to say, what if the electricity goes out? What if none of the batteries work in the calculators? What if the one thing of Epsom salts you thought was in the back cupboard for your awesome lesson is not there? What if the technology dies? You know, you can have the best lesson in the world, but if there are no boundaries established, if they don't know what to do in an alternate situation, you have just let them loose to do what they want and push the boundaries. So those are the types of things you want to avoid. When we would have issues, I think I threw this up before, then we would go to responsibility sheet. In my 10 years of middle school, I only had 2 students go to the office. The office is a no-no for me. Here's why. My mother was a principal. I heard every story. So-and-so sent so-and-so to the office for the 15th time. Do they not get that they are to manage that behavior? And so I was always like, holy cow, I do not want to be that teacher. I don't want to be talked about over roast beef. And are. Okay. So what I always did is I said, I know what you're trying to do. You are trying to get out of Mrs. Quick. You want to go home and play Xbox. You will go through the hell of me before you play Xbox. Tough. Responsibility sheet. What's causing you to not want to engage? So I would just quietly slip it on their desk. I never pointed out in a big way what a student was doing that was inappropriate. I would slip it on and say, ooh, don't want that. But the critical question that I felt was on here, is there any way Mrs. Quick can help you? I have to be part of the process. It cannot all be the student. I have to help them. One thing I found out, all this person does is poke me. I can't deal with it. All this person does is hit the back of my chair. All class long. Those are the types of things, if I know it, I can deal with it. But as middle schoolers, what do? All stays here and here. They don't want to get you upset. They don't want to get others in trouble. They don't want to say anything. They're scared. They're nervous. What if you call them out? Not good. Not in their eyes. And so you have to really think about, what did I feel like at that age? How would I want to be treated with this situation? So that was really, and then there is an action plan form. If I really have, this is just a different settlement of the responsibility sheet, but if there was something that had to go to the office, and the 2 times that did, this went with them. And so something to think about. When you have an issue, big issues go to the office. You don't want to send the small ones. Okay? A couple of the other things I wanted to mention. Kind of my top 10. So middle school rocks. Celebrate them. Have pride in your building. Have pride in your kids. I always would have a board that would have the kids work or newspaper clippings. Things that they, from outside of school, could celebrate. In our area, it was always their first deer in September. Volleyball, football, youth football, those types of things. If there is something about Beaverton, it went on the board about my students. There will never be enough time, I think I said that. Always have a plan B. It never failed that I would have a lot of pre-student teachers come from CMU, and this is kind of tricky, so I'll tell you. I would say, okay, you're going to teach for 55 minutes, be prepared. They would come, they'd always say, I have practice. It took 55 to 60 minutes with my people in my dorm or my apartment. After 15 minutes, done. And they would look over. Oh, what do I do? That look of, holy crap, I am sunk. And I would always sit there, yep, I've been waiting for this. Because I could tell by the plan that this wasn't going to go on. And so I always had that plan B for them, but I'd say at the end, don't forget that pit in your stomach that you just had. Because what you weren't prepared for is being overplanned. And that's really where you have to be at. Befriend everybody. Now, befriend. Be a friend. Do not be the friend. Think about the difference there. You are there as their teacher. You can be a friend after high school. But if you try to be their friend now, it's going to go sour. They will just spread their hate for you, and it will be ugly. I can promise you that. Chunk and chew. What do I mean by chunk and chew? These students can only handle 5 to 10 minutes tops of content. And then you need to have them chewing it up. So chunk your material, I would do in a 50 to 55-minute period, I would do at least 5 different things with the same topic, but always different. I have really bought into the multiple intelligences thing, which reminds me of another R, research. Stay on top of your research about classroom management. Stay on top of things that are working for other people. Because of this, multiple intelligences in the 1900s were like Robert Marzano is today. It was the latest, greatest research in the world. And it's great, but they've now found some fallacies and some issues with them. And so that's why it's important to stay current. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Everything should be repeated. They love you. You want to love them back. Just the right way, please. I had enough of the men and women who want to overlove. Get my trick. Boundaries. We all got this? Every time I see a report in Michigan, I go to check, is that one of mine from CMU? Did they graduate from CMU? Did they not get that you do not have a relationship with a 6th grader? You laugh. We had a principal who married his 6th grade student when she turned 18. Ended in divorce. Duh! Could have told you that. But, out of love, thou shalt not. In that way. Be in the know. Know what's going on Nickelodeon. Know what's happening in their world. Know what the latest games are. Minecraft. Oh my word. Love it. Know it. Don't necessarily have to do it, but know enough about it to talk with them about it. And be seriously involved in the conversation. Don't fake it to make it. Can't do that. They see right through you. And this is the most rewarding job you will ever have. Reward. The reward comes to them, but more to you. Okay? Questions you have for me? Yeah.
What if I just had this happen actually? I can't, as a student teacher, they won't let me just sub by myself. I have
Yes.
to have someone else in the room. And one of my host teachers had to go off. And I have a good relationship with this 8th hour. And this is the 2nd day in a row that this happened and I had to teach them, and I completely lost them.
Okay.
They have the RTP program, and I unfortunately let it get too far before I had contact everyone. So I don't know. And also for subbing, that kind of situation, what do you do if you completely
So,
lose?
when I always had a subbing situation, and I believe in subbing, I think, God forbid they make me like the state superintendent of education, because I probably require a year of subbing of everybody. It's the best experience. Honestly, rewards. Okay. I would sit down a group, because they're not mine ultimately. That's the nice thing. You find a group that you're like, oh my word, heaven help them, and me. You would be like, okay, here's what we have to accomplish today. I want to work with you. I'd go back to here's what it takes to survive these days. We can either screw around this hour, or I, as your sub and teacher, because that's what I am, we can get something done, and then you're going to get rewarded for it. If you use it as a conversation, then usually it would work. If they walk away from that, then it's the hard line. Usually setting one, and I hate to do this as the example, becomes, oh my gosh, they mean business. Because it's that boundaries thing. They want to see, how far will this sub deal with us? And I would just say up front, here's how it is. You have to be an actor or actress. I could have won so many Academy Awards, it's ridiculous. But that's okay. I know that. Fine. But sometimes you have to get right down in their face and say, I want to help you. What do you want? What do you want out of life? And it's the death stare. He's always said I had something funky I would do with my eyes. I have no clue. But it's that idea that I want to be, going from the positive, I want to be your lifeline. Don't you want to live? Some kids don't. When you say the golden rule, what is it? Do unto others as you would have done unto you. Some don't want to treat themselves well. Some would rather cut themselves off. Some of you may have done that in your teen years because there's so much pain. I want you to live. I want you to live successfully. And I want you to be able to rise above. What is it that you're willing to do to rise above that? Not that this is wrong. Don't leave that impression. That is never wrong. A lot of their parents, that's where they're at. So it's never wrong. That's what their subsistence is. But how can we get you further? How can you help? So that's where I would start at and really find out. I'd start off with an inventory, beginning of the hour. Make it 3 questions. What do you want out of life? How do you want to survive? What car do you want? What house? Start there. Quickly learn it. Learn this is where names come in. Who's the one that pushes? You'll see them. They're the one who, right to the front leader. Learn their name fast, learn their stuff fast. And that should help. Other questions? Yeah.
You said that the first week you go at that time is being with students. If you're in like your student teaching experience,
That's hard.
is there like what kind of time frame would you
Well,
recommend, I guess?
I would say 2 to 3 days, and I would really justify it to your host teacher. I would make it very clear and plotted. Here is my agenda. Please check it with you. The hard part is this. If you do fall student teaching, this is where you're golden. It's all starting new. It's the spring student teachers I worry about because you're coming in, the host teacher is letting you gradually increase responsibility, but they've already done that intro stuff. So what you've got to do is say, in those first full times of taking over, here's how our class will work with me in charge. Here's my handbook. Here's my expectations. Here's what I'm going to do for you. And take at least a day to 3 days to do that. But really have it well, and this is where the plan really needs to be in place by you already. Hand it off to that host. That's how I would do it. Other questions? Is there a magic bullet? No. Except for love. You know, love is free. It has costs. But loving them is something they can't take away from you. They can't stop me. And so if you show that and you're sincere, they will catch it. They are very good. They watch everything you wear to it. So be careful. But that's true. They will catch on to your sincerity. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for having me.
Alright, let's have another really great round of applause for Jen Quick. That was so great. Okay, now it's time for raffle. Sam, here you go on the table. We'll do that.
I want to make sure, Sam, will you just make sure, did anybody not get these? Sorry, the volunteer sheets? Volunteer sheets?
Yes, I do. I mean, it's really.
Alright, really quickly. Really quickly. Before I go into raffle, I know that you all got the email from me since you're here, so that's awesome. If you guys know anybody who's not getting the emails, or you're talking to some of your friends and they want to get the emails, just like send CMLA an email, or you can come and talk to me, whatever. A couple of names were wrong on the listserv, that's why a couple people weren't getting emails, but now they're all fixed. They should be good, but just let me know so that everyone gets emails. Okay, does everyone have a raffle ticket? Including Jen, do you have a raffle ticket?
I'm good.
You don't want a raffle ticket? I mean, you might have to see the prizes.
You guys get the stuff.
You might have to see the prizes.
Prizes are.
But they're really great. This is great. Okay. So. So one of our first. Now, whoever wasn't here last week, the way that we do this raffle is there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to raffle off, but everyone don't have to do it yet. You're all going to stand up, and I'm going to read off the number, and then if it's not your number, you'll sit down. And the last person has to get up and cheer as loud as they can, like, I am so excited, I am getting this poster. If you don't, I'll make you do it again, or you won't be surprised. That's my policy. Those are my rules. Okay, so we have a wonderful poster on punctuation. It's really cool. We have the always awesome bags. Orange and black. It's almost Halloween. We're getting there. Okay, we have some great books like we always do. There's Essential Questions with Answers for Middle Level Teachers by 9 middle level educators, so that's pretty cool. If the Shoe Fits, How to Develop Multiple Intelligences in the Classroom, so that's also awesome. We have one more fun book, Dynamite in the Classroom, a how-to handbook for teachers. So they all kind of deal with classroom management, which was our topic today. Okay, we have always fun whiteboard, dry erase board. So Kohl's having a sale, and they have macaroni and cheese duct tape. So y'all get that prize. And then we have some sticky notes, which are always fun, and some stickers, which even middle schoolers love stickers. I mean,
Yes, they do.
those are together. Those are actually together. And then finally, we have a giant eraser that's so I had a lot of fun at the dollar store today. Okay. So the apple's not a raffle. This is
Oh, I know, you don't know what to do.
okay, so everyone stand up. Y'all got it before me. Does everyone have the first three numbers? 788?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a yes? Yeah. Okay. So the first number is 3, 4, 0.
Only 10 off.
Seriously, guys? Really? Stand up, stand up, stand up.
No, okay.
3, 6, 8.
Oh, that's fine.
She's fine, so don't you dare.
Okay, we have first
Why? You want them?
No.
You don't deserve them after that terrible performance. You
Okay. 3, 5, 4.
Last time you got it. I want to test it.
Okay, 3, 7, 3. Okay. We still have poster, bags, 2 books, dry report, and macaroni and cheese duct tape, guys. 5. Wait, no? Okay. Does everyone have 3 as their 4th number? Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Everyone read 2 numbers. Okay, go. 6. 6. And 1. Oh my God. Thank you. Okay. 7. 5.
Sweet.
What are you gonna take? What are you gonna take? You're not taking it back? Oh my goodness. This is a moment in history. He has never not taken the bag. So.
Brian, do you have enough bags now?
Okay, everybody else. 6. 2. Alright, so we got 3 more prizes. Everyone stand up. Please. So we have the bags, the poster, and the book. 4. 6. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm giving away $1 billion sometimes. Just the reaction. Everyone back up. We got 2 more. 2 more. All right, 5, 1. Which one are you gonna take? All right, so we have the wonderful punctuation poster still in the plastic. We're gonna kind of not open what it is, but that's okay. All right, last craft ticket. Yeah. 5, 7.
Yeah!
You should get both prizes
Alright,
for that.
thanks guys. Katie's gonna come up and close out.
Alright everyone, thanks again for coming. Just a reminder to either sign in or give that little tear off part of your brochure to Devin over here. We would love to recognize that you were here. So remember to do that. We want to give another big round of applause for Jen. I want 3 quick things on what we learned today, or specific things that we want to take away from today. Yeah. R&R. Awesome. What else? Repeat. Yes. Krissa. Boundaries. Awesome. Okay. Thank you all again so much for coming. Please join us 2 weeks from now, October 1st. It is our panel of middle level students.